Oh, you saw me take out a cough drop as I was coating my throat. Good morning, everybody. Hello. Welcome to live broadcast here at Colourwerx Design House. Good morning, and it is Friday, August 14th. And guess what today is? Yes, it is Fab Friday, another exciting broadcast. This is broadcast number 12. We are so happy everybody is here. I can see everybody checking in from the comments. We've got everybody checking in from around the country. That is great. And it looks like you're having, actually, with the exception of anybody who might be in Southern California, better weather than we are. We're at 115 degrees, I think, here in the desert. It's a beautiful desert, but it is going up to 115 degrees today. It is going to be this way probably for the next week or so. We're going to see how long the cactus cam lasts out there. It is outside sitting near the cactus, and sometimes it will just stop working because of the heat. So make sure that you like and share this video with everybody. Again, welcome in everybody across the country. We are really happy that you guys are here with us. I'm Linda. Carl is over at the controls. This is Colourwerx Designs here at the beautiful Colourwerx Design House. And today we're going to be talking about easy curvy piecing. This is a liberated technique, and you can kind of, when you go through the tutorial with me in a couple minutes, you're going to see that you can do whatever you would like with this technique. There are a lot of different ways to apply this to some of your quilting. If you are have some courage and you want to get a little liberated with your curvy piecing, this might be just the fun project for you. So we'll get to that in just a minute. Let's see who's checking in from where. I think we've got everybody. Pat is checking in from, what does that say? Cloudy with rain expected in Pinehurst. Oh my goodness. Well, I kind of wish that we had some rain here, but we don't. So we just have sun all day. But it's great to have you here, Pat, and everybody checking in from North Carolina. Let's see, Julie from Oceanside, another pool day, that is for sure. Actually, our pool is more like a sauna these days. We went in last night and it was at least 90 degrees in that water, I would say. And of course, forget going in the jacuzzi. That was just too hot completely. Hello, Robert from Palm Springs. Waves to you. And who else do we have checking in, Carl? Ann Hamill, hello from Paducah, Kentucky. I love Paducah, and it's great to have you here, Ann. Hello. Welcome in to Fab Friday. Anybody else? Julie Dugan, a big hello from Rockport, Texas. A big hello to you guys, too. We love having everybody checking in from all over the country. And one more, Connie. Oh, cute haircut, she says. Yes. In case you hadn't noticed, I did shed some of my COVID hair last weekend. Our dear neighbor has a stepdaughter, who is a hairdresser, and she came down and did an impromptu kind of secret haircut for Carl and I. So I did shed some of the COVID hair, as you can see. It feels a lot better. It now needs a dye job, so we'll see if that's on the agenda this weekend. But more on that later. So let's talk about what we talked, some news going on here. As you know, last Friday we talked about this fabric collage. This is the flower collage tutorial that you can see. It's episode number 11 of the Fab Friday broadcast, which you can always see a replay on our Colourwerx YouTube channel or on the Colourwerx Facebook page. So go check this out. But I did want to share my other fabric collage project that is quite undone. So this is a Laura Heine fabric collage. I was trying to find this last week in the depths of the quilt closet and couldn't find it. And here it is. It's the owl, and it's not been finished, of course. It's a UFO, of course. So this is as far as this owl has gotten. It's all Cape Fawcett fabrics. But this is an example of what Laura Heine, who's a wonderful designer, she does fabric collage patterns. She has, I don't know how many oodles and oodles of different fabric collage patterns. And this is kind of an example of, you set up your fabric collage on some interfacing like that, and then you go and you put this on a background fabric. But alas, this is a UFO, and this is as far as it gets. I'm sure everybody has UFOs, but I did want to share that with you. Other news is we've been doing lots of virtual workshops and virtual lectures of late to quilt guilds. It is a little bit of a different experience, but it's much like what we're doing here on Fab Friday, where we're sharing our our lectures and workshops with everybody virtually. We have cameras set up all around the room, over cutting tables, over sewing machines. We have slide presentations going on. So I just wanted to put it out there that if you are in a guild or you have a quilt shop that's looking for virtual teachers or lectures or events or workshops, Carl and I would love to come visit you virtually. And he's put up on the screen there, I believe, yes, where you can look at all of our information there on the Colourwerx.com website under the workshop tab, and you can see a video, and you can also download a little brochure and our rate sheet and ask us any questions that you might have. So that was some of the news there. I also have to go ahead and I would bereft, I have to say it, here it is, 20% off our brand new patterns, all stacked up, and mod box. They are 20% off in the Colourwerx shop right now. You're pre-ordering the paper pattern, which is due in August 24th. You can order the PDF electronic file immediately and get that. And Carl just kind of whizzed through those, so we had all stacked up, and we have mod box there for you. Both come in various sizes on the pattern, so make sure that you go ahead and order those in our Colourwerx shop. Those are 20% off for a couple more weeks. And like I said, you're pre-ordering the paper pattern and we'll automatically ship that to you August 24th. Or you can order the PDF pattern. And of course, our summer sale, which is 30% off all fabrics, is still going on. So oh, look at that. There you go. The wonders of technology. And so 30% off summer sale, all fabric bundles and fabrics in our shop, still going on while supplies last. So with that, I don't know, is it more people are checking in, Carl says. So we have to say hello to everybody. Hello, Jen from Palm Springs. Nice to have you here again. And Jennifer June, hello. Nice to have you, an old Pinehurst friend. So it's great to have you guys from Pinehurst finding us and checking in with us. And Susan Knowles says hello from Santa Margarita, California Central Coast. We did a guild presentation last week for a guild up in the Central Coast, which went great, and it was really fun. Who else? Jackie Gilks?
Yeah.
Jackie Gilks, hello from Pinehurst. Great. This is so much fun seeing all of our old Pinehurst, North Carolina friends checking in and finding us. So with that, I don't know if we checked in with the Cactus Cam, did we yet?
No.
I don't think so. Let's just check in and see what's going on. Nothing's going on. It's 115 degrees. I mean, people would be crazy, but then golfers are crazy. So what are we saying? I mean, the cactus looks great, but nobody's out there today. It's too hot. So should we start the tutorial? I think we should. This is curvy piecing. I'm going to move over to the overhead camera to show you exactly what we're going to do. So let me do that now as we switch. Okay. I am moving over to the overhead camera. I've got this block that we use to market this little tutorial here. I'm going to show you how to make this block in just a minute, but first I want to show you what you start with. So basically, you want to start, and I'm using solids today just because it makes it easier for you to look at. So you want to start with 2 strips. I've cut these strips at about 8.5 inches wide. Now you can cut these strips however wide you want them to be. And these strips are stacked right sides up. So remember, we're not right sides together, we're right sides up here. 2 strips stacked right on top of each other, both the same width, whatever you want it to be, and I'll show you some different widths in just a minute. What we're going to do is you need a very sharp blade, hands out of the way, no rulers, okay? What we're going to do, and I'm just going to mimic it here first, we're going to do a very gentle curve, and we're going to cut that. Free form, no marking. Come up the center. Okay, so here we go. Hands out of the way and just undulate slowly like a country road, driving down a country road from side to side. I've now cut these 2 strips apart in this nice little gentle curve that I have free-formed. All I need to do first before I take this to my machine to sew it is I'm going to shuffle this pile over here. So I'm going to put the fabric that's on the bottom to the top, and I'm going to leave this pile alone. Now I'm just going to take the 2 top fabrics and I'm going to actually put them now right sides together. So I've taken my 2 top fabrics and I've left my 2 bottom fabrics in place. And I'm going to take these 2 over to my sewing machine and I'm going to sew them right sides together. So we'll run that little video quickly. Right, so this is so much easier than it actually looks like it might be. Let me show you. So you just start here. You're not necessarily going to do a perfect 1/4 inch seam, but as you stitch along the curve, like so, you're just going to ease these two pieces together as they approach the needle. Don't worry too much about having a perfect 1/4 inch seam. Try to do your best, but at times it might be a little more than a 1/4 inch and it might be a little less, like that. They didn't quite come together, but that's going to work out perfectly. So the idea is to get these two edges to come together as they approach the needle, but don't stress too much like there if they don't come perfectly together, because the idea is that as you move down these two curved pieces, you're just simply gently pushing them together as they approach the needle. And as you come down to the end here, I'm not even worried that these two edges are going to meet at the end, because guess what? I'm going to trim this all down to size before I do something with it. So just do your best. And when you get done, you put this under a iron that has some steam going with it and press that curve out like so. And you should get a nice curve with no puckers. Right, so we're back, and here is my piece that I sewed, and you can see that I just pressed the seam to one side. I don't have to clip this curve because when I use a little steam in my iron, it just lays over flat like that. You don't have to be perfect with your 1/4 inch seam, just do your best, like I said in the video, to match the two edges. So now I have this piece here, and what do I do with this? Well, the first thing I'm going to need to do is actually straighten the outside edges and make this the width that I want it to be. So my rule of thumb is if I want this to end up to be about, I don't know, 6 inches wide when I'm finished, then I want to give, when I cut the strips, I've given myself an extra 2 inches. That's why I cut these strips to begin with at 8 inches, then did my first curvy cut, then sewed the two pieces together. Now I'm going to straighten the side. So I'm just going to put my 6.5 inch ruler down on them like this. And I'm going to kind of put the 3 inch mark or 3 1/4 inch mark heading down towards the middle of what I think the strip is. You can move your ruler from side to side. So for some reason, if you wanted to see more of the dark green versus the light green, you could throw your ruler off to the side here, you know, off to one side, cut this side straight, and then flip the strip over and make it the width you want it to be. For my purposes, I'm going to make this about a 6.5 inch strip. So I need to straighten the sides by simply running my rotary cutter along there. Now I have a nice big straight edge, and I'm going to just flip the strip again, take off this other piece here. Okay, now I have a really nice straight edge strip. Of course, I have the raw edges on either side here. What am I going to do with this? Well, I could actually cut these into rectangles now and piece them all together to make a quilt. And this technique, I might add, looks fabulous if you have a bunch of scrap batiks. This really works well for batiks. I can cut this apart and make this block here. So this is my little pagoda block, as I call it. And you can see basically that I basically took a 5 inch square in the middle, and I fussy cut that out from some Kay Fawcett fabric. And then I cut two strips from my pieced curvy strip that went on either side. And then I cut two strips from my pieced curvy strip, because remember, for every two strips that you put in, you get two strips out like this. And those went on the top and bottom, and it creates this really nifty kind of pagoda block. Of course, I'm having trouble saying that this morning. And it goes together really easily, and then you just simply square it down to size. So let's say you want to get a little more fancy, okay, and you want to do maybe a couple cuts. Let's start with another two strips about 8.5 inches wide. And this is now they're stacked right side up again. Remember, fingers out of the way. So just start back here, get your finger out of the way. You're going to make one gentle curvy cut. right? And then come over about maybe 2 inches and make another gentle, curvy cut. And you want these curves to kind of undulate back and forth. They want to be kind of sexy. I call them kind of sexy curves there. They look like lava lamps. So how would you piece that together? Well, you'd simply take the middle pile and switch the fabrics. So put the bottom fabric to the top. Now, this gets a little confusing, so I always leave this on my cutting board when I go to sew this. So what I would do next is just simply, as the video showed, put these two first piles, pile 1 and 2, together, go sew this, and then add the third strip onto the other side. So what does that yield me when I get done? Well, 2 strips in will yield 2 strips back out that look like this, except one will be the mirrored image or the negative of the other. So when I get done sewing these strips, and again, I didn't have to clip any curves back here. You can if you feel like you want that to lay flatter, but I'm getting a pretty flat press by just using a little steam here, and then I use a little Mary Ellen's Best Press when I'm done. So what do you do with, now I've got these 2 things that look like lava lamps. I would then straighten my edges on the side, meaning like just as I showed you, I would throw my ruler down and do a straight edge here and flip the strip and then do another straight edge. So if we go to the Sheila Moore picture, when Carl gets ready to flip over to that, look at that. I've got it up there. So this is exactly what's going on in the back of the modfish pattern. So if you've ever wanted to make our modfish pattern or do something similar like that, it makes a wonderful little artsy wall hanging too, out of batiks and things like that, or a printed fabric, especially if you're doing some solids with a little texture or tonal print in the middle. This is exactly what's going on in the modfish pattern. The only thing that's different is I have separated each strip with a series of 2-inch purple squares that go across. So just to break up the background there. But so if you like our modfish pattern but have been scared of curvy quilting, then this, now you know how to do the curvy quilting that's in the back, although it does say in the pattern too exactly what you need to do. So let me show you some other things that you can do when we go back to the overhead. I have a UFO that's been around forever. This was a UFO from Timeless Treasures, and you can see it's exactly the technique that we just talked about. So this is the pattern. I don't think it's out there anymore, but it's certainly something that you could improv at home too, where they've used lighter fabrics in the middle and they've gone out to a darker fabric. But these are some of the batiks that are in that particular UFO that's been around here for about 20 years, which I need to finish. And you can see how fun that is. So you could make your little curvy quilting rectangular block. You could offset it by having 2 blocks go like this. So maybe it's a rail fence going on, things like that. Or you could just do what they did, which is they kind of offset each one like that in a setting. So it's very fun. That's just another idea of what you can do with curvy quilting. The next thing and last thing I want to show you is some other blocks that you could make. Again, I'm going to use solids here. Hold on. Again, I've got 2 strips. These are a little less wide. So these are about probably 4 inches, 3.5 to 4 inches wide. Again, these are going to be right sides up on your cutting table. Not right sides together, but right sides up. And I'm going to take my rotary cutter, again, fingers out of the way. I keep stressing that. And I'm just going to go ahead again, cut a free-form, liberated, gentle curve through them. Separate the piles. Flip one stack with the bottom fabric to the top. Okay, those 2 get sewn together. The bottom 2 get sewn together. And what do I get? I get something that looks like that, or 2 things that look like that. And I've cut one of these already up for my samples here. So again, what would I do with this? Let's say I want to make a smaller block than what I've shown you before. I'm just going to stick my ruler on here, and I want to do a straight edge on this side. All right, now I have a straight edge. Flip it. Now I'm going to make this strip, let's say, oh, I don't know, how about 3.5 inches wide? That looks good. I want to make it 3.5 inches wide. Okay, great. Now I want to cut this up into some pieces. All right, let me take the selvage edge off for a minute. And now I'm going to cut it up, let's say, into 3.5-inch blocks. Why not that? That sounds like a good number to me. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and this would be left over for something else. What can I do with these blocks? Well, I could, if I wanted to, I could make some groovy little block like this. And sew these two together and do that in succession across a quilt. That would give me a little block once I square it down that looks kind of like that, depending on your curve. And so can you imagine if you made a whole series of these and put it together in a table runner or something like that, that would be pretty neat. You could also offset like that and just alternate the block as you go through the quilt. So, maybe this goes up, or you could do even like a free-form rail fence, I just thought. Hold on. Something like that. If you can see that. That would be like a free-form rail fence going on. Or you could even do a pinwheel. This is another idea. So let me just get this going the right way. How about something like that? So you could put blocks together and make this curvy pinwheel block. And this is my pinwheel block that I finished. So all I've done there is simply just sew it together just like a 4-patch. So those are some basic ideas of curvy quilting. I hope you enjoy that. And again, like I said, some of the basic curvy quilting is in our modfish pattern. But I will leave you with that as we check in with the cactus cam when I get back into position. And as I'm rolling over here in the room.
Nobody's out there yet.
Nobody's out there. Now, what's really weird about the cactus cam is that every time we do our broadcast, there's nobody out there. But I guarantee that when we get off the air at about 11 o'clock or 12 o'clock, there's these crazy golfers. And they're not young people. I mean, they're probably in their late 70s, 80s, and they're out there golfing in 120-degree weather. Yes, Carl says we just missed the mowers. So I hope you enjoyed that tutorial. Let us know if you have any comments or questions down in the comment section. And speaking of tutorials, hold on. We're always looking. Hold on, Carl. We're always looking for new ideas on tutorials. So please leave us a comment down in the comment section too if you would like to see what you would like to see on future tutorials. Let's put it that way. We're looking for suggestions. We want to know what you guys want to see and what you guys want to learn and things like that. And we'll be happy to accommodate on future Fab Friday comments. So podcasts. So go ahead and give us a comment, questions on what you thought of the curvy tutorial. Give it a try. If you've got any scrap fabric sitting there, just give it a try. Just do curvy quilting. The only thing I ask of you, please, fingers out of the way. If you notice, I never put my fingers in front of the rotary cutter. They're always behind the rotary cutter. Now, Carl, what is going on with the comments? Let's see.
Some comments.
Trudy, hello from Naples, Florida. Great to see you. Thank you for showing up, everybody. This is great. Susan says her bandwidth did not work with the live broadcast. So I might add that if for some reason your bandwidth or your internet decides not to keep up with us, or if our bandwidth goes out, we always repost all of our videos up to the Colourwerx YouTube channel and also on the Colourwerx Facebook page. So let's see if anybody else
comments on the technique.
Let's see. What's everybody? Okay, Jen says, "Ooh, I really like this idea and seeing some fun projects using this technique." Absolutely, yes. Yeah, just try it. And all of a sudden, any block that you have to cut individual squares up to, things like that, it works. It's a beautiful, like I said, it looks beautiful in batiks because batiks have that organic flow to them and that organic design. And it's a beautiful way of doing a little table runner or artsy wall hanging to fill a spot in your house or as a gift, things like that. So anybody else?
Yeah, we got more stuff.
Nancy says, "Oh boy, that looks like so much fun. Can't wait to try." It is. It is really fun. And so again, just keep your fingers out of the front of the rotary cutter. Make sure they're behind the rotary cutter. And the key to the curvy cutting is not to be too extreme. Don't do extreme curves, just a gentle, I call it a gentle undulation from side to side, so that you can actually piece that together. And don't stress out on the 1/4" seam. It all works out. Mary says, that's a great idea. Thank you. Well, thank you, Mary. We really appreciate everybody's comments here today. And Trudy goes, thanks, Linda and Carl. So that's great. Trudy, thank you for checking in. And Barbara says, fun. Great.
And
Ann Hamill says, thanks, Linda. I've been waiting to try that, and you make curves look so easy. It is, Ann. It actually is. It's a technique I learned a long, long, long time ago. And it is one of the funnest and just a liberating technique to get you started with curvy piecing. And the great thing about it is you just don't have to be too exact with anything. Candy says, what did Candy say? Thanks, great tutorial. Thank you, Candy, for checking in.
Jackie likes
and
it too.
Jackie says, great time. Thank you. Well, thank you all. Please be sure.
We've got a bit more.
Oh, more. Connie, maybe someday we could have Carl lesson on some. Well, that's an interesting comment from Connie. Coloricious learning from Carl. Guess what next week's tutorial is? It's going to be color tips and tricks from Carl. So Carl's going to be on our tutorial next week. So make sure you tune in next Friday, and also make sure that you put all your comments below about future tutorials you would like. That was a great suggestion, but we have that planned for the next actually 2 weeks, Connie, that Carl's going to come to you now with some color tips and tricks. So we really appreciate everybody checking in. Let's see. Jennifer says, I love this technique, something different to get me out of a rut. That's right. That's right. If you're feeling bored or you want to try something different or you're feeling not so quilty, well, we all go through that. So try a little liberated quilting, try a little curvy piecing. It totally works. So I must,
Barbara,
one more.
See my haircut? No, there's 2 more.
No. Oh, Barbara, no, Carl's too shy. He will not come on.
Next week you'll see my hair.
Yes, next week you might see his hair, but it'll be grown out. You can hear him chiming in from the side there, but Carl is way too shy to come onto the camera right now. So, and Nancy,
what's to know about the stitching?
What quilting stitch might you use with that? You mean, well, I'll answer both ways. If you're piecing it together, you just use your normal stitch length, whatever is the preset for your machine, meaning 2, 2.5. But if you're going to do machine quilting, meaning once you get everything pieced together, it looks great with that straight kind of matchstick machine quilting that you can do with your walking foot, where you just do straight stitches all the way down, and then you could even grit it, or you could even stipple inside the curves where the lava lamp, as I call it, the lava shape is, and then do straight stitching on the outside. So I hope that answered your question, Nancy, but let me know.
Yay, go Carl.
And Trudy says, yay, go Carl. That's the way we feel too. So, and one more from Linda. Thank you. I'm going to try this. Great. I really hope that you guys do. And of course, as with everything with Colourwerx, if you have any questions, if you need any assistance, you just email us at colorwerx@yahoo.com. And I want to get, Carl's saying one more. Modesty says, can I ask about the sample sale? Yes. Well, no, that is the, Carl just brought up the 30% off our fabric sale. I think Modesty is talking about an Instagram post that I put on a couple days ago where I showed you guys, we were taking inventory of all of our quilt samples here. And I kind of gave a little hint that we might be having a sample sale. So yes, to answer Modesty's question, yes, it's coming. So if anybody's interested in purchasing some of our samples in the near future, probably in September, we're going to be doing a Fab Friday broadcast where we will be showing you all the samples, and we'll be having them up on our website for sale. We really just need to, we want to spread them throughout the world, first of all. And second, we just are running out of space here at the Colourwerx Design House with all of these samples. When I took the inventory the other day, I was like, my goodness, how many mod dogs and mini mod dogs and mod cats does one person need? There must be 6 or 7 of each pattern here. And so we're ready to get rid of some of our samples and let them bring you joy. So keep your ears perked for that. But yes, it's going to be sometime in September, I believe, for a sample sale. So with that, I'm going to leave you with the question of the week here, which is, do you like curvy piecing or not? So go ahead and give us a comment below if you liked what you saw, if you think you might try curvy piecing, or if you're scared to death of curvy piecing, or you really don't like that technique. We love to hear all comments, and we want to know what you're thinking, as well as future tutorials for future Fab Friday broadcasts. So with that, I'm going to wrap up our program. We thank you everybody for being here. Please share the video with friends so that they can see the curvy piecing tutorial as well. And remember, all of our Fab Friday broadcasts are up on our Colourwerx YouTube page to share with friends and family, as well as the Colourwerx Facebook page. And we also put them on our Colourwerx Quilt-Along page as well, which is a private group that you can join. It's Colourwerx Quilt-Alongs on our on the Facebook page or on the Facebook website. And speaking of Quilt-Alongs, we're going to be announcing in just a few short days our next Quilt-Along there at the Colourwerx Quilt-Along page, which will be starting in September after Labor Day. So with that, we really thank you everybody for showing up today and tuning in. We really appreciate your love and support. It is great seeing you all again. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you come back next week, same channel, same time, which is 10 a.m. Palm Springs time or Pacific time, for Carl's tips and tricks on color selection. We will see you then, and bye-bye, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in.